In 1974, a 9-year-old girl became one of America's most beloved television figures, embodying innocence, resilience, and the idealized image of family life. Through her role as a pioneering frontier child in a hit television drama, she captured national attention and remained in the spotlight for years. To millions, she represented warmth and moral clarity, a comforting vision of childhood. Yet, behind the carefully crafted image was a life marked by early loss, emotional strain, and relentless professional demands. Her journey reveals the hidden cost of fame, especially when it begins in childhood and grows faster than identity can form. Early adoption and childhood loss. Melissa Gilbert's life began with separation. Adopted as an infant, she grew up in a household that defined her identity before she could define her own. Her adoptive parents provided stability but not permanence, as their marriage soon dissolved under financial and emotional strain. By age 2, her father was largely absent, and by 11 he had died suddenly, leaving her with unresolved grief. These early disruptions created a deep sense of longing and uncertainty. Questions about her biological origins compounded her emotional vulnerability, planting early doubts about worth, belonging, and whether she was truly wanted at all. Entering the world of child acting. By the age of 5, Melissa was already auditioning for commercials and television roles. Encouraged by her mother's awareness of Hollywood opportunities, she quickly transitioned from ordinary childhood experiences to structured performance schedules. Sets replaced playgrounds, scripts replaced school lessons, and approval became tied to professional success. Each role reinforced the idea that love and attention were conditional, earned through performance rather than freely given. While other children developed socially through play, she learned to regulate emotion for cameras, mastering expressions on command. This early exposure shaped her understanding of identity as something external and constantly evaluated by others. Landing a defining role. At 9 years old, Melissa auditioned for a role that would define her life. Competing against hundreds of other children, she was selected to play the central character in a family drama set in the American frontier. The casting felt like validation after years of uncertainty, as though she had finally been chosen in a lasting way. The production quickly became a cultural phenomenon, elevating her to national fame. Audiences embraced her as the embodiment of childhood innocence and strength. However, what appeared as a breakthrough moment also marked the beginning of an intense and consuming professional existence. Life under fame's pressure. As the show's popularity soared, Melissa's daily life became increasingly demanding. Long filming hours, strict expectations, and constant public attention left little room for normal development. She balanced academic tutoring with rehearsals, media appearances, and emotional performances required by scripts. The production environment demanded consistency and perfection, often blurring boundaries between childhood and work. Authority figures on set became surrogate family figures, deepening emotional dependence on approval. While praised publicly as a talented young actress, privately she navigated exhaustion and pressure. The gap between public admiration and private experience widened as fame became a defining force in her upbringing. Identity struggles and emotional weight. Growing up in the public eye created a complicated internal conflict. Melissa struggled to separate her real self from the character she portrayed. The constant reinforcement of her public persona made it difficult to understand who she was outside of performance. Emotional validation was often tied to audience response and professional success, reinforcing insecurity when recognition faded. Over time, This contributed to a fragile sense of identity built on external approval. The absence of a stable emotional foundation made transitions outside her television role increasingly difficult, especially as childhood gave way to adolescence under sustained public attention and expectation. Decline, financial struggles, and addiction. After the peak of her television success, life became increasingly unstable. Financial difficulties emerged despite years of work complicated by mismanagement and contractual limitations common in child acting careers. Emotional strain carried into adulthood, eventually contributing to struggles with addiction. Alcohol became a coping mechanism for unresolved trauma, exhaustion, and identity confusion. Public perception contrasted sharply with private reality as her earlier image of stability and success masked deep personal challenges. Over time, financial debt and health complications added further pressure. The contrast between early fame and later hardship highlighted the long-term consequences of childhood exploitation in entertainment. Recovery and rebuilding. In 2012, Melissa entered a structured rehabilitation program to address alcoholism and begin emotional recovery. The process was physically and mentally demanding, forcing her to confront long-suppressed trauma without distraction. Therapy sessions required honesty about childhood loss, professional pressure, and personal mistakes. Recovery involved rebuilding relationships, particularly with her children, and learning to separate identity from public image. Support systems, including therapy and recovery groups, became central to her healing process. For the first time, she was encouraged to exist without performance expectations. Gradually, she began reconstructing her sense of self outside the framework of fame. Love and stability in adulthood. During her recovery, Melissa formed a relationship with actor and director Timothy Busfield. Their connection developed slowly, grounded in shared experiences of life in the entertainment industry and personal setbacks. Unlike earlier relationships shaped by emotional dependency, this one emphasized stability and mutual understanding. Marriage followed in 2013, marking a turning point toward emotional grounding. The relationship provided consistency without the pressure of performance or public expectation. It allowed her to experience partnership as equality rather than validation. This phase of her life represented a shift toward healthier emotional patterns and a more balanced personal identity. Health challenges and physical consequences. Years of physical strain from early acting work eventually manifested in serious health issues. Chronic neck and spinal problems developed, likely worsened by demanding roles and physical stress during her television career. Medical evaluations revealed degenerative conditions requiring surgical intervention. In 2016, she underwent major spinal surgery with significant risks, including potential long-term mobility complications. And these challenges reflected the delayed physical cost of childhood labor and entertainment. Despite prior emotional recovery, her body now demanded attention and care. The experience reinforced how deeply early career demands can affect long-term health and quality of life. Conclusion. Melissa Gilbert's story reflects the complex intersection of childhood fame, emotional development, and long-term consequence. What began as early opportunity evolved into a life shaped by intense public scrutiny, personal loss, and eventual recovery. Her journey illustrates how identity can be fragmented when formed under constant performance pressure and external expectation. Yet it also demonstrates resilience through rebuilding, self-awareness, and healing. While fame defined her early years, it did not determine the entirety of her life. Over time, She moved from being an icon shaped by others to an individual defining herself on her own terms.